Yankee Doodle, a male sea otter, was released into Half Moon Bay on Tuesday after being treated for domoic acid toxicity at the Marine Mammal Center in Sausalito. Bill Hunnewell, good morning. Want to get California today by email? Here's the sign up. Sea otters, once bountiful along the California coast, were virtually wiped out by fur traders in the 18th and 19th centuries. A population estimated at as high as 20,000 fell to mere dozens. Since coming under the protection of strict wildlife laws in 1977, the playful creatures have been rising in number, but with agonizing slowness. In the last decade, the population of California sea otters, which range from just north of Santa Cruz down to the Santa Barbara area, has grown by an average of less than 2% a year, according to yearly census figures. The most recent count in 2017 was 3,186, down 86 from a year before. It's just been a real slow increase over time, said Dr. Sean Johnson, Director of Veterinary Science at the Marine Mammal Center in Sausalito, a nonprofit that rehabilitates ailing marine life. It doesn't help that hundreds of sick and injured otters have been turning up dead or dying along the California coast. In 2016, California wildlife officials recorded the highest ever number of stranded otters, 474. That's up from 299 a decade earlier. Many of the otters are mortally wounded by sharks. Some show evidence of disease, and others of poisoning linked to the algal blooms that have also been killing sea lions and menacing the state's fishing industry. The blooms occur naturally, but researchers believe they are being intensified by runoff that pushes waste and fertilizer into the Pacific. They release a toxin called domoic acid that winds its way through the marine life food chain. Melissa Miller, a Department of Fish and Wildlife veterinarian who has overseen hundreds of otter necropsies, said more research was needed to fully understand how domoic acid was harming the otter population. But she added, I think we can safely say domoic acid is a big deal in otters. The hard part is how big of a deal. Otters are regarded as a keystone species, which means they are essential components of their ecosystem. That they're struggling should sound alarm bells not only about potential harms to marine life, but to humans as well. Wildlife experts say, I see them as sort of a proxy for the bigger issue of land-sea pollution, said Dr. Miller. And don't forget, she added, we eat a lot of the same things that otters eat. And we clearly see that some of the things that otters are getting are associated with the food that they're eating. California Online. Please note we regularly highlight articles on news sites that have limited access for non-subscribers. One of Stephen Paddock's hard drives is gone. His brother is accused of possessing child porn. A tough case gets tougher. The New York Times. A Redondo Beach couple repurposed 7 shipping containers as dwellings for Burning Man. Now the structures have been sent to Santa Rosa, where they will provide temporary shelter for people displaced by the fires. Press Democrat Sherry Papini vanished for 3 weeks last November. Andrew Sang. The Sacramento Bee. The Associated Press. The Shasta County Sheriff shared new details in the case of Sherry Papini, whose abduction and subsequent release last year have baffled investigators. Officials said the DNA of 2 people was found on Ms. Papini after her ordeal, that of a man and a woman. Record Searchlight. A UC Davis administrator committed suicide after being accused of sexual harassment. His widow is now suing the university, saying it drove her husband to despair. Sacramento Bee. Kern County, population 880,000, banned commercial marijuana. Bakersfield, Californian Jack Dorsey is the chief executive of Twitter, whose share price has been stuck in neutral, and Square, which is poised to become more valuable than Twitter. Jeff Minton. Square, the other company run by Twitter's CEO, could soon surpass Twitter in value. The New York Times. Cities vying to host Amazon's second headquarters have been offering the retailer giant tax breaks. Fresno is making an offer too. Nothing. KQED. Even before a sexual harassment crisis, the Weinstein Company was struggling. Now it has lost a financial lifeline. The New York Times. Corey Feldman, the former child actor, has started a fundraising campaign to create a documentary that he says would expose sexual abuse of children in Hollywood. Variety. Los Angeles Dodgers fans cheered between innings of Game 2 of the National League Championship Series against the Chicago Cubs at Dodger Stadium on October 15. Mike Nelson. European press photo agency. Devotion to the Dodgers unites a strong contingent of Latino, white and Asian fans in Southern California. The New York Times: the Astros drew even with the Dodgers in the World Series after a topsy-turvy, homer-filled game that lasted 11 innings. The New York Times: a new professional soccer team announced plans to build a 10,000-seat stadium in Oceanside. City News Service: a Spanish-style hacienda in Los Angeles with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and a pool house garage is on the market for $2.1 million. Charmaine David: here's what can you get for $2.1 million in California, New York and Illinois. The New York Times: 7 Bay Area restaurants were awarded Michelin's coveted 3 stars. San Francisco Chronicle. And finally, Metallica band members, from Left, Robert Trujillo, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett, and James Hetfield in San Rafael. Brian Flaherty for the New York Times: a benefit concert for Northern California fire victims is to be headlined by the Bay Area bands Dead Company and Metallica. The concert, under the banner Band Together Bay Area, was announced Wednesday as communities continued to reckon with the destruction of more than 8,000 homes and other structures. The financial impact of the wine country fires is not yet fully known. Moody's, the credit rating agency, estimated insured losses would total at least $4.6 billion. The concert will be held November 9 at San Francisco Sat Park with tickets from $50 to $200. Also performing will be Dave Matthews and Geezy, an Oakland rapper. The recent tragic events up in Napa County, Sonoma County and Mendocino have left us all saddened, left us all flabbergasted and trying to figure out how in some way we could bond together and help, said Lars Ulrich, Metallica's drummer, in an announcement video. All proceeds will go to Tipping Point Community, a nonprofit in San Francisco that works with the poor. Separately, the concert organizers said $6.5 million in relief aid had been raised from a number of Bay Area businesses, including the San Francisco Giants, Google and Salesforce. California Today goes live at 6 a.m. Pacific Time weekdays. Tell us what you want to see today at nytimes.com. The California Today columnist, Mike McFate, is a third-generation Californian, born outside Sacramento and raised in San Juan Capistrano. He lives in Los Osos. Follow him on Twitter. California Today is edited by Julie Bloom, who grew up in Los Angeles and graduated from UC Berkeley.